crime rate in the United States rises 400%. The once great city of New York becomes the one maximum security prison for the entire country. A 50-foot containment wall is erected along the New Jersey shoreline, across the Harlem River, and down along the Brooklyn shoreline. It completely surrounds Manhattan Island. All bridges and waterways are lined. The United States police force, like an army, is encamped around the island. There are no guards inside the prison, only prisoners and the worlds they have made.
I am terrible.
Medieval slang.
I rap about God and it's hard. Hey y'all, we got some cold days ahead of us. They trying to get rid of us. In their playing syllabus, we're conjuring insidious. I look at us, bickering, crying of things frivolous and things that really matter.
Never take it serious.
Time that we living in, all they after is dividends. But when it all crumbles, no knowledge of primitive. Off the grid, will you survive and stay healthy? No more sliding in the DMs or taking selfies. Look at what they sacrifice, thirsty to be wealthy. You follow that path, you bound to face wrath. Messengers that went to pass orders were all slaughtered. That's all across 360 turned to four corners. Luckily the king and the fiend are all goners. We in the latter moments, submit to the atonement. Instead pride and ego lead you down below and never ending fuego. Don't wanna go where they go. I rap about God and it's hard. 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 Yo, you wanna hear stories enabling foul behavior? Not over here, player. My speech is far major. I can tell you how they move short-lived. This ain't finale. Tear shit from family to get to the Morgan Stanley. This terrain breeds jealousy, envy, lust, and hatred. Doomed since the moon made the sun know he was naked. That's parabolic talk. Gotta study to be approved. And once approved, you can move mountains. He fighting for that fountain, not for no loot boutings. No trust, all doubting, or war just shouting. So many wows I done lost counting. Is this what we amounting? Is it just surrender? Join them, can't beat them. Even the Father give us choice of freedom. Is this the reason? Keep facing beatings. From wrongs, no retreating. And we die for the things they feeding. You heard it, keep reading. That's all I wanna do, to hopefully be allowed stand in front of you. I rap about God and it's hard. I rap about God and it's hard and it's hard. I rap about God and it's hard. And it's hard. It's hard.
Salute, peace. We alive, we live, we live. Thank you for tuning in. Here with the next one. Government shutdown. Are we being played? Salute. Peace, brother. So we got quite a few things to go through tonight. Appreciate you. With the government shutdown, this year Halloween fell on the weekend. This year Halloween fell on the weekend. Today technically would be November 1st. And most people that would be expecting their benefits or what have you would be on there already. But there's nothing with the government shutdown and things that's transpiring in government with all the politics and their games and their reasonings for why and why not. So what we are witnessing is classic, as we've been through before, problem, reaction, solution. That's what we're witnessing right now. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Mine's playing tricks on me. Grace and peace. Once I see the little lioness, I know who it is. So salute, grace and peace. Definitely. This is what we're seeing. Problem, reaction, solution. We're seeing that live in effect with what's happening. It got to happen. It has to happen. It's like with the saying, no justice, no peace. Basically, until there's justice, there will be no peace. And what is the opposite of peace? War. So if it's just words, then you'll never get justice, right? So in order for things to get better, it has to get worse. And I think, a lot of people might be afraid for the outcome when it gets worse, but you don't know until it gets worse, which is inevitable. It's in the script for things to go worse with this country, with the United States of America. It's in the script. So we're going to go through it. Again, as always, whatever's presented will be made available in the description. And I'm going to go through some things with this shutdown and the whole idea with the dependency on government. And what does that do? Dangers of that. Right? So again, we're witnessing classic problem, reaction, solution. Witnessing. And as we go on tonight, I'm going to show something in regard to how stupid they think people are. But you won't see this if you're dependent on them. If you're dependent, you will be blinded. You won't be able to see. I have this saying that I say to some of my close friends, that the world is a cult. The whole planet is a cult. And you can see that with the United States government. It's a cult, how it operates. And we're going to go through some things tonight. So as always, if you believe, praise God. If you don't, praise God. You have your freedom. You have your liberty. All I'm doing is sharing information, nothing of which that you can't find for yourself or be able to add on. Salute to the sisters that's tuned in tonight. Appreciate you. Yep, absolutely. All cults. So let's get into it. let's get into it. Get this article real quick. And says SNAP benefits won't go out November 1st. The well has run dry. So the USDA is the one that's responsible for, I guess, the budget with SNAP, food stamps. And it says that the well has run dry. Right? 42 million Americans who rely on supplemental nutrition assistance because of the government shutdown, according to a new message from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. SNAP, also known as food stamps, is a federal program that provides low-income families monthly benefits to afford health. So, with the government being shut down, again, as people were set to receive whatever benefits they were to receive come the first, is not available. And they're saying has the well run dry, which means there's no more money. There's nothing left to give out. Has the well run dry? So again, with this government shutdown, are we being played? That's the question. And aside from food stamps, there's so many other things that are being hindered and halted because of the government shutdown. And it's been a month already. Right? So this is an article from USA Today a couple days back, the 27th. That'll be in the description. Right? Okay, what we got here? Yeah, that's wishful thinking for people that, you know, are looking forward to it. But I sincerely doubt it because of the way things are going. And again, this is by the to be this way. It is set to be this way. Can't do nothing about it. Can't do anything about it. You just had over $40 billion given to Argentina. There's a lot of things going on that, again, most listeners would deem conspiracy theories, but they're not. They are actual conspiracies. They are not theories. They are actual conspiracies. The root word of conspiracy is to conspire, and conspire is never anything good. It's always evil, diabolical, wicked plans, ideas, and schemes. So these are actual conspiracies. Here's the reality. Public assistance, food stamps, SNAP, is supposed to be, as was read, for low-income families. People that work, they don't make enough to pay everything, and they're struggling. They have to balance between whether I'm going to pay the light bill this month or let it rock, and I got to pay the gas, or however, depending on whatever people's budget based on their salary. And that's what food stamps is there for, to allow you to be able to still provide food for your family. You're working, and this alleviates a little from you putting cash to food when you can use it for the other things you need to catch up on or be able to even probably save something, right? It's not supposed to be forever. It's not supposed to be forever. And this is where the dependency comes in and the complacency, and people get comfortable. So now this is done. It's been over a month. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. And we're going to get into that soon here. We're going to get into the topic of that in regards to cults. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. So again, let's look at it. It's October 31st in reality, but according to their system, it's November 1st because it's after midnight. There's no food stamps. That means there's no Thanksgiving. There's no Christmas. There's no New Year eating and celebrating if the government is still shut down. The dependencies and the indoctrination that's been done for people to become dependent. For people to become dependent, the indoctrination that's been done with these quote unquote holidays, where it's been embedded so deep that when these so-called holidays come around, it's a must that you have festivities. You have food for Thanksgiving. You have food for Christmas and New Year's. And a lot of people depend on their food stamps for that. Dependent on that. So it's something that's being done. People are being basically drugged to depend on this financial assistance from the government, which will make things so much easier for them to implement their agendas. One of the agendas is the digital ID. We went through this couple of episodes back in regards to the digital ID in the UK. Not to mention 17 other countries that is being done in. Spoke about Vietnam and how over 80,000 bank accounts were closed, discontinued, because people did not want to give in and deal with digital ID. That is the plan. So when you hear things like the UK issue, which their digital ID goes into effect today, if I'm not mistaken, it was set for November. If I'm not mistaken, it goes into effect today. The digital ID was to differentiate between, should I say, citizens and non-citizens. And no one would be able to work unless they have that digital ID. So as many people throughout time thought maybe the credit cards were the mark of the beast, then everybody would have it. People thought maybe the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, then everybody would have it. It's not of force. It is not by force. It is something that has to be done by choice. There's never been a mandate before, like there's been a mandate with this digital ID. There's never been any mandate before or a threat where you cannot work unless you have this ID. Working deals with you providing the service for your company, for your job, and you get compensated for it. Money. Transactions of money. You can't buy, you can't sell, you can't pay anybody, you can't do nothing unless you have this digital ID. Can't have a job unless you have this digital ID. So that means you can't work. If you can't work, you can't eat unless you have this digital ID. By mandate. Now you place with a dilemma, you got to make a choice. Right? So let's continue. How serious is this? When people have become complacent, just dependent on this every month to come in. Especially for people that don't work. Again, it was made for a way to assist with, you know, relieving some of that strain because a person is not financially able to pay for everything, rent or mortgage or their bills, light, gas, water, transportation, etc., whatever it is. It's not to stay on forever. It's not to stay dependent on it forever, because now when it's time for anything to be implemented, you're just going to go with it. So if you used it or if you use it, you should already have it in your mind that it's for a time. You just as it's commanded for those that believe to use the world, but not to abuse it. You are in it, but you are not of it. Because if you was of it, then it would love his own. This is not love. Somebody's hungry and you're cut off from getting what you need to get food so you can eat. That's not love. But for the ones that's complacent, that's been dependent on it and indoctrinated so much with it, there's no telling what lengths they will go to eat or to get what they're used to getting. So let's go to the next one. Okay. We get it for y'all. Thank you for tuning in, everybody that's tuned in. Make sure, listen, y'all gotta like. I hate to, you know. What we got here? What you said? Yeah, absolutely. I gotta let you know. Yeah, you gotta like, you gotta comment. And let's get it in the algorithm. So a lot of people talking about what's going on. And yeah, I'm here sharing what I'm sharing. So let's go back to it when it first started.
Capitol Hill, where the government has shut down for the first time in nearly 7 years. At midnight, the government ran out of money. Both sides are blaming the other, while millions of federal workers brace for what is a very uncertain future. What was the final chance to keep the government open failed tonight in the Senate. Majority Leader Thune and Minority Leader Schumer had this to say.
Well, I know why we're doing this, Mr. President. The Democrats' far left base said jump. The Democrat leaders said how high. But the far left's determination to oppose anything President Trump has ever said or done is not a good reason for subjecting the American people to the pain of a government shutdown.
It's natural that people understand that Donald Trump and the Republicans want to shut down and Democrats do not. We need to deal with this health care crisis now, not later.
So again, this is why tonight's presentation is titled Government Shutdown, Are We Being Played? The Republicans are saying no, it's the Democrats. The Democrats are saying no, it's the Republicans. Are we being played? If you really love your citizens, you feed them. If you really love them, you feed them. You don't experiment on them. You don't test them to see what happens. And you definitely, you don't indoctrinate them. You don't indoctrinate them and manipulate them. Right. Right. They all have a mission and agendas to fulfill. And for the most part, both right and left share the same ideas of the agenda because they all controlled by the same puppet masters. So this is when the government shutdown commenced and the blame game began. Excuse me, the blame game began.
But the Republican bill fails to do that. I urge my Republican colleagues instead to join with us, work in good faith to keep the government open, keep costs down.
President Trump is threatening to fire federal workers and cut programs and benefits. He also said he can do things that are irreversible. Democrats rallied on Capitol Hill earlier today in a show of unity and demanded that Medicaid cuts be restored, saying Republicans would rather shut down the government than protect the health care.
So the reason why the Republicans are saying they don't want to sign off on anything or agree to anything is because the Democrats want health care and food stamps benefits and other things to be given to illegal immigrants for them to be able to still receive the same benefits as American citizens. And this is where the argument is coming in. So again, this will be in the description. And when you go to the USDA site itself, which I urge you to do, please go to the USDA site yourself, and you'll see that even the USDA site says that it's a Democrat shutdown. So it's a blame game across the board, and we're watching problem, reaction, solution. That's what we're watching. And this is from the actual site, the USDA, and it gives you a history on the SNAP program, a little history on the SNAP program, how it started. Right? And it tells you, Senate Democrats now voted 13 times to not fund the food stamp program. So Democrats, also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Bottom line, the well has run dry. The well has run dry. No money, broke. No money, broke. but over $40 billion was given to Argentina. So is a short history of SNAP. When it began, from the beginning, 1939, the food stamp program, up until the Food Stamp Act in 1964, which we went through, shown in a presentation in a documentary with the food stamps, how they made it where it was basically impossible for a woman that was single, that had children, to have a boyfriend or anybody, right? They wanted, that's a part of it, for the women to be dependent on the system. And it wasn't just black and brown women, there were white women as well. Anybody that in that time, and so not too long ago, you know, you had restrictions, right? So it goes into it, and again, just reading this, where it started and how it began and the whole purpose. But I tell you, the well has run dry. Oh yeah, but that's according to what's said, that's not from any taxpayers. That's from private donations, private donors that have you know, donated for this or for that to take place. So let's not forget how, I just want to bring this back to everybody's remembrance, in case anybody forgot. Let's not forget how stupid and how docile and brainless we are to them. Human beings are to them. Let's not forget. Let's not forget. Get $100 for a vaccine. Cash incentives work for some, others not so much. This was back July 30th, 2021. I remember driving on the Grand Concourse and seeing the Winnebagos with the signs on it. You get $100 so you could get that. Did you see that in your city? I saw it in New York. Was that in any of your cities? But this is how much of fools we are to them. They could just throw $100 at you, especially in impoverished neighborhoods, especially in drug-ridden neighborhoods. You want to take that 100, you know what's going to happen? But they got that shot, though. So I can speak on what I saw in New York. That's why I'm asking. Was this in any of your cities? So you got that's Baltimore. And she said no. And that's Philly. And she said yes. Right? show you something else. Show you something else. How foolish, how brainless, and how stupid we must be. Just a reminder.
You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment. Thank you.
That's the former mayor of New York City, de Blasio, talking about getting free fries, free French fries to get vaccinated. So why am I sharing that? Because I want you to see how stupid they think we are. Let me make it more personal. How stupid they think you are. Yeah, this is facts. You can look that up. Which I just showed you, but you can look up yourself. That's how stupid they think you are. That's how much of a sheep they think you are. That you just follow suit. And it's because of being dependent. You got comfortable depending. There's nothing wrong in using it. Nothing wrong with it. Especially if you a working person and you ain't making enough, or you get your hours cut or something. And you need that extra boost. There's nothing wrong with that. If you a working person, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't get comfortable and dependent on it. Even if you're not working, it's an opportunity for you to get on your feet to find something so you can get off of it. It's not to stay on it. Because when you stay on it, they can get you. And you know how many people were got with the $100 for a shot? Those were bars. I didn't mean to spit bars, but that's how it flew. But it's serious. That's how gullible and stupid they think you are. And then a mayor gets on and he eats a hamburger with French fries, that you can get that for a vaccination. And then some of them went on stage and they did it in front of the camera, and people were that gullible to think that they actually did that. Like there's no prop needles in Hollywood with retractable, what appears to be a needle going back in as you put it on the person's skin. We live in an illusion, people. These people do not care. They do not care about the citizens on either side. Yeah. Silly. Super silly. So when you get dependent and then you don't get what you're dependent on, you lose your wits. And I'm gonna share some videos of people losing it.
I finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month. About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. Before we were about to lose our food stamps, mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize the depth that this is, the damage that this is going to do, but the women, the mothers, and the families, but the mothers especially, who are going to go without meals so their children don't have to. I know that I will absolutely be one of those mothers.
But because we have children and because aftercare and before care is too expensive, I've taken a job that's basically minimum wage so that I can be there to pick up my kids. I cannot fathom what we're going to do without that food stamp money, because if I already couldn't eat dinner with that food stamp money,
I'm so tired of seeing people say like, oh, well, maybe if you had a job, you could get your groceries, or, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't have to depend on stamps. I work full time. Thank you. And I do rely on stamps because guess what? It's not enough money in this economy for me to be able to pay bills and get stuff that we need and provide for my 2 kids. So yes, I depend on stamps. And I have a full-time job. So please know that people out here depend on stamps is not because we out here just mooching off the government. It's because we literally need that to provide for our family.
I work hard every single day. I get up every single day and clean houses, and I still rely on food stamps to feed. My prices are so high, it's unrealistic to think about not having food stamps. Next month, I'm so terrified because 6 babies are always eating. Plus myself, I eat about 1 meal a day, but still.
So you see people focus on the wrong things. Christmas. You work to consume. It's just like the documentary called the movie They Live. You work to consume. You make everybody else rich. You make everybody else rich. We're going to show that. So those are people that, you know, are expressing themselves because of the economy. You know, they work and they still, you know, need that assistance. And I understand, man. I understand. Exactly. 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 So I understand. right? Let's go. Let's go to the next one. Got a few tonight. So I'm going to share another one. This brother is pretty solid, you know, with his information. And sometimes I find myself having the same thoughts as him and a few other people that are in tune with some of the things that I'm in tune with. And I'm gonna allow this video to be shared in regards to what I spoke about with the digital ID, because he spoke about it as well.
The government shutdown, but why does this feel like a setup? Now let me slow walk you through this whole situation, starting with Walmart, because people are saying on the 1st they're going to raid Walmart because they don't have food stamps. Now, benefit program, which is 25% of the entire program annually, which is pretty interesting, being that they are one of the sponsors for the No Kings protests, in which other globalists were actually funding the No Kings protests, like Ford, the Rockefeller Foundation, George Soros, just to name a few. But Walmart makes over $600 billion, so $3 billion is a drop in the bucket. So who really benefits and what's really going on? I mean, not only it's about money, which it is, because Walmart lost over $20 billion over the last 5 days, which could be a great opportunity for insiders to buy a cheaper stock. But it's about power and control as well. Could it be that all these corporations, big tech, billionaires want to induce civil unrest to implement a digital ID? Because out of chaos comes order. I mean, you have Bill Gates and Larry Ellison all pushing for a digital ID, in which right now is a New World Order situation in the UK, in which their problems is based on immigration, which easily can be induced to implement a digital ID. And guess which group has 60% of their group on SNAP benefits? Immigrants. Immigrants do, and they know this, so it seems like we're being played from both sides. I mean, it would be kind of crazy. Companies like Amazon plan to lay off over 500,000 jobs over the next 5 years due to AI automation, crushing the middle class, causing civil unrest. Not to mention, UPS just cut 48,000 jobs today. So the question is all this orchestrated so we're worrying about SNAP benefits and immigration being separated, black, white, all while they're building a New World Order situation for us? Could be. All the while, we still don't have an Epstein list, which is probably a distraction on top of a distraction at this point.
I agree. Problem, reaction, solution. That's how they get order out of the chaos. Here's a problem. The well has run dry. There are no more food stamps being given because of this government shutdown. The well is run dry. Right? You get the next one. That's the problem. Right? The reaction is the threats. The reaction is the threats that's been given. And you can look that up. People threatening to run up in Walmart and take their shopping carts or their buggies and run out with all the food that they put in their carts. Right. Right. There's no getting around it. It's inevitable. This is what's going to happen. So, the government shutdown, are we being played? What do you think? What do you think? The UK already implemented the digital ID. The UK has been doing that where people are getting pressed for what they post on social media. Well, I don't know if that's the whole UK or if it's just England. It's just Great Britain. I gotta look and see. But yeah, you post something that's crazy, they coming for you to arrest you. So because people have freedom of speech here, you think you're free to throw threats. You just incriminated yourself. And then you got it on camera. So you're easy to identify and not able to press charges on you for your threat. So Democrats versus Republicans. And we, the people, you, get caught in the drama. Because you're watching a big soap opera. That's what we're watching. It's all scripted. People are just playing a part. There's somebody calling the shots for what hopes they have to happen. Civil unrest, civil war, system crash, system done. Could that be coming? Agenda they have up their sleeve. So we watch this in the news, we watch this in their addresses, and we get caught in the drama like a soap opera. In real life, it's an IRL of the government. Yeah. So we watching the soap opera in real life, and it's playing on everybody's emotions. The left hate the right hate the left. They're all the same. They're all evil. They all have agendas. They're all corrupt. How can a person that has a salary of 170,000+ a year be in office for 4 years, started with nothing, and now they're worth $20-40 million? How? They're corrupt. You might have some local politicians and people that have sincere hearts that really want to do something for the people, but they're corrupt. The system is corrupt. The system of Satan is corrupt. Yeah. Right? Okay. Let's get into the stamps. And now me speaking from experience as a child and throughout my adult years on and off food stamps and seeing the things that I've seen. Maybe some of you can relate. Maybe you've seen the same things. Maybe some of you had the same thoughts. Right? So let's go to it. When I was a kid, and I remember either going with my mom or with my grandmother. As a kid, 6, 7, 8, going to the supermarket, whatever. And seeing this. No frills. I remember seeing everything in black and white. Then you had aisles that had everything in color with all the different advertisements of different companies. But then you had the no frills, all white with big black letters on it. And you get snapped on if you get that stuff. As a kid, growing up, you would get clowned if you bought no frills. If you had no frills, you would get clowned if you had food stamps and had to go to the store with the booklet with the colored money. Brown was the dollar bill. I think the 5 was blue. Then you had a green number, a $10 bill. It looked fake. And people were ashamed. Kids would be ashamed to go to the store for their parents with that. And if you bought the no frills, you were clowned also. Some people may not be that old to remember that. But if you remember, let it be known. Yeah, Flakes Frost. Backwards for Frosted Flakes. Flakes Frosted. Yep. And you get clowned for that. So it was a shame to be on it.
As long as we don't hit any traffic going back.
Prices on these products are cut basically because of the lack of national advertising and a mass-produced label.
Is the quality the same?
The quality is very similar to what you'd buy in a national brand or a private label package.
Who manufactures it?
The manufacturer of these products, some of them will be manufactured by some of the name brand manufacturers you may know, and some by people who deal primarily in developing private label merchandise for various chains.
What does the consumer gain by buying these products?
She gains a very good value price-wise. as opposed to a national brand item.
I got another one. A no frills expose from, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is 1980. Yeah, 1982. So if you remember those stores and the aisle was all black and white, that's all it was. I remember as a kid looking like bugging, like, what's this? Why it doesn't have the colors? And then, you know, being explained as a child. And now with more understanding, you see why. People were ashamed, but it's all trickery, because some of the major corporations that have all the different colors and different artwork and logos, they actually provide the same food for the no frills or generic brands. And nowadays, some of the generic brands that you go to Walmart, you see they have their version of Cocoa Puffs and their version of Fruity Pebbles and their version of Frosted Flakes, and some people can't even taste the difference, right? And they have all the same graphics on it now as the more upscale ones, right? So this is short. I'm gonna let it play out. It's 12 minutes. And it explains a lot.
You've no doubt seen them in your supermarket, plainly packaged, simply labeled no brand products. You've probably tried them and may have liked them. That's what one poll shows. Half the people asked said that no brand products are a better value than name brand products. Why then do so few of us regularly buy the no brand? Consumer correspondent John Stossel to find out. John?
It's simply because people worry about the quality. No brand products.
And just a quick sidebar for wrestling fans. This guy, not mistaken, he was slapped by David Schultz because he said wrestling was fake.
Go against every sales pitch we've ever heard. They don't promise to be bigger, better, stronger, just cheaper. And they are cheaper, typically 30 to 50% cheaper than the brand names. Now, we've been taught if something's half price, there's got to be something wrong with it. Is that true for no brand products? I tried to find out.
These are 4 of America's finest products. They're so...
This is a commercial for one supermarket chain's line of no brands. They call them no frills.
With no frills, you can save up to 40%. There's just no comparison in price. Only you can make the comparison in quality.
Do you buy them?
Well, I haven't really tried a lot of them. The ones that I've bought, I like, but I haven't tried many.
The ones that you bought, you like?
I have liked, yeah, but I haven't tried all of them.
But they're cheaper. Why don't you try more of them?
Because I'm always afraid it's going to be crummy. You know what I mean? No, you don't.
I do. So does she.
I've been told they don't taste as good as other products, and I just don't buy them.
So you're not even going to try them?
No.
Most shoppers are afraid of no brands. Maybe it's the names that even sound like low quality. Makes you wonder where they came from. Actually, they often come from the same place as the brand names. Take peas, for example. This is a farm in Wisconsin. Whether they become brand names or no brands, all peas start out equal. No one, after all, tries to grow low-quality peas. Picking the peas is what's crucial. There is only one half day when a pea is at its peak. Young, sweet, tender. That's government grade A. If it's picked 8 hours later, that same pea may be grade B or C. Older, therefore a little starchier. The canner separates the grade A from the grade B and C peas. But notice, there's no label on the cans. That's so these peas can go anywhere. They become this no-brand label or this store brand. Canner Fritz Friday also sells brand names.
You might sell to Del Monte or Green Giant. That could happen. And they'd sell it under their name. Right.
That doesn't mean Del Monte and the no brand will be the same. Usually, name brand labels go on grade A cans, while no brand labels go in grade B or C cans. Usually, I say, because when we bought peas from stores around the country, hid the labels, and had a government grader regrade them, he found these two no brands were a higher grade than this can of Del Monte. And the Del Monte costs about 20 cents more. In general, however, we did find the no-brand foods were usually of lower grade than the brand names. But when you know what lower grade means for some foods, you may not care. No-brand rice is just regular rice with broken pieces left in instead of sifted out. This no-brand spaghetti is made the same way in the same factory as Prince spaghetti. The no-brand flour is simply less finely ground. It has more bran and wheat germ left in. That, in fact, gives it a little more protein. What about no-brand peanut butter? At this California factory, the only difference is...
So, looking at that example with the rice, what would make it be no frills? The grain was broken. So it's similar to clothes that wind up in the outlet and wind up being on sale for 50, 60, 70% off because maybe a stitch is off. One stitch is off. So it's like effective.
in the size of the peanuts used. The larger, smoother ones go into the brand. The smaller, wrinkled peanuts into the no brand.
The only difference I can see between the peanut butters is that the generic is a little darker.
That's because this machine, which rubs the skins off the peanuts, doesn't work well on smaller peanuts. So with the no brand, some skins are left in. Now you pay a lot to keep the skins out of your brand name peanut butter. This company's brand name sells for 34 cents a jar more than the no brand.
Nutritionally, there is no difference. In fact, every nutritionist we talked to said in all categories of food, no brand is just as nutritious as the brand name. No difference.
But what about taste? Taste, of course, is the reason we buy one food over another. We ran a taste test. No frill spaghetti against Prince spaghetti. No brand peas, Friday canning against Del Monte peas. No brand light peaches against Del Monte light peaches. Plain wrap peanut butter against Skippy. We paid a scientific testing laboratory to bring in a random sample of 50 adults to taste peas, spaghetti, and peaches. And for the peanut butter, let's go to the experts after all, 50 kids. For scientific accuracy, no taster knew the purpose of the test. They didn't know they were comparing brands to generics. All they knew is that they were to compare two foods and say which they liked best.
With the spaghetti, how many of you like C?
The result? With peas and spaghetti, most testers did prefer the brand. Still, a quarter of them liked the no brand more. And with peanut butter and peaches, surprise, the no brands tested equal to the brand. That surprised a lot of testers.
Yes, I am. I've tried no-name brands before, and I really wasn't too pleased with them. But I guess side by side, they kind of stack up.
As a rule of thumb, I never buy the no-name brands. I just thought they were inferior quality, not that I had any basis to go on.
And you were fooled here.
Exactly.
Many of the peanut butter tasters were fooled, too.
You put down A.
A.
And you thought, what was wrong with B?
It was dry.
What's your favorite peanut butter?
Skippy.
But you thought B was dry.
Yeah.
The brand name did have its fans.
The other one sort of tastes like glue.
Glue?
Yeah.
More kids might have felt that way if they had seen the label on the jars.
When my kids see a generic label, they all say, oh, this is no good. It's junk or it's cheap. Sometimes I even buy jelly in a generic brand and put it in a Welch's jar, and they would eat it, and they didn't know, honestly.
But when you don't see the label, our tests and other tests have shown that many people prefer the taste of the generic. But no brand food is scary. Many more people buy the non-food generics. You can see it just looking at the shelves. Shoppers see the lower price and grab it, sometimes just leaving the brand name there. And some of the no-brand products are just as good as brand names. Bleach, for example. Ralph Supermarket's Vice President Al Maraska.
Bleach is identical to other bleach. Here we have bleach manufactured by the same company under different names, Plain Wrap and Purex. Plain Wrap retails for 73 cents and Purex retails for 89 cents. A significant saving for the same product.
Of course, since bleaches are alike, what does that say about his more expensive Ralph's store brand bleach?
Someone would have to be a dope to buy your Ralph's bleach. In the category of bleach, the people that want to buy the name brand are paying for the advertising and the marketing value.
You get the exact same liquid.
That's right.
Other non-foods are different. How different? We ran 2 tests. First, liquid dish detergents. The soap industry actually has a standard test for comparing liquid detergents. It's called the dish count test. As it sounds, it's done by washing dishes. Not just any way. She's washing so slowly and gently. So the test will measure how well the detergent cleans, not how hard she rubs. We tested the best-selling brand, Ivory, against 8 generics. Ivory won. It washed more dishes, 13. The best-performing generic, Pathmark Store's No Frills, washed 11. Pathmark's Vice President Bob Wonderly says, so what?
So you get perhaps
Keep in mind, this is 1982.
an 80% increase in the number of dishes that you can wash per ounce, but you're paying 400% more.
True. Ivory costs $1.99. No Frills, 49 cents. That means per penny, Ivory washed only 16 dishes, while No Frills washed 56. The other no brands didn't do that well, but they too were better buys than Ivory. Next, trash bags. The garbage bag industry has a standard test for trash bag strength called appropriately the drop test. We hired a Boston research firm to do it for us on Glad bags and 9 generics. First, they fill the bag with 40 pounds of tree bark. Then they dangle it just off the ground for 2 minutes. That's supposed to imitate us carrying out the trash. Then they raise it to 5 feet, and that was a Glad bag. It passed the test. 7 out of 9 no brands failed the test. But 2 of the cheap bags, one from Jewel supermarkets in Chicago, one from Smith stores in Los Angeles, that's this one, did as well as the Glad bag did. These are the bags the ads don't tell us about.
This is a Glad 3-ply trash bag from the #1 name in trash, and that is a typical bargain bag.
The ads also don't tell you that Union Carbide, which makes Glad bags, also makes bargain bag one. It's strange. Many companies that run
Look how wicked that whole industry is. They make good bags, sell them for a certain price, and then they make some halfway good bags that are more susceptible to break, sell them for cheaper. That is evil. And they're making money both ways, selling good product and bad product. That is evil.
bargain brand ads also make bargain brands.
Oh no, feeding a bargain brand dog food? Cheaper. Dog food's dog food. No.
Ralston Purina runs these anti-generic dog food commercials. But we were told that Ralston makes most generic cereals. We heard they made these, for example. We called Ralston to ask about it. Ralston said, no, we don't make generic.
That's how the supermarket aisle would be, all black and white. This whole aisle is black and white.
I couldn't believe it. So a few weeks later, we called again. Again, Ralston said, we make no generics. So the owner of this small New York City grocery store offered to help us out. He called the local Ralston sales office.
Do you have any samples of the generic in your office? Because I have guys out that way regularly. I'd like to see, 1 or 2 of them if I could.
And a few weeks later, 3 cases arrived. Sure looks like generics to me.
Sure does.
Says Ralston Purina on the box. Now, why would they have a cover-up over something like cornflakes? I called Ralston back, and a spokesman told me he wasn't covering up. He just didn't know they made generics because it's such a small part of their business. Yet we've learned it's a $20 million a year business for Ralston. Many companies are secretive about their generics. Pathmark's Wonderly buys generics from brand name companies.
What company?
I can't release that information.
Why not?
Well, very simply, they don't want the public to know that they're packing the products under our label that are competing with the brands that they're trying to establish.
I doubt that Ralston would want you to know that it sells as generics the exact same cereal it sells under the more expensive Ralston name and store brand names. If you knew that, you'd always buy the no brand. A final point. There certainly are some brand name products that are simply better, stronger, thicker, whatever. With some products, you may want that. But with others, you may simply be paying for qualities you don't need.
For example, we sell a paper towel that ostensibly, if you tear it in half and you wet it, it will support 2 cups of coffee.
Or a pie plate.
Mike, put that pie on here.
Our no-frills paper towel won't do that. The point is that I think one has to question whether consumers really buy paper towels to bring them home to support cups of coffee, or do they buy them to mop up spills in the kitchen and clean windows.
And the no-frills is much cheaper.
The no-frills sells for almost 50% less than the national brand.
So look again how evil these industries are. Selling a more superior product and then an inferior product made by the same company, right? Okay. So again, as a young man, as a child and a young man growing up, I remember seeing the no frills and kids that got clowned for it, for eating that or buying that, being clowned for the food stamps, the fake money, as they would say when it came in a booklet. People were clowned for being on it. So it was like a shame. From the booklet, it went to these big IDs, these like almost double the size of what your ID is now. These big IDs, they were wide and fat, and they had your picture on it. It went to that. And the reason why I went to that is because people used to sell their food stamps, the booklets. They used to sell it. You get $500 in food stamps, you sell the booklet for $350 in cash. This is the reality. So they put in those cards where the person that was getting the food stamps, they had their picture on it now. There was no more the booklets. But then them cards are awkward and big and everything, so now they made them convenient, the same size as your credit card. And people that misuse it, again, not talking about people that need it, that need that help or need that assistance. They're working and they just need, to be on it a minute to come up out of whatever hole or whatever the case may be, but they're working. you got those that are not working that get it. And again, if you get it because you're not working, say you lost your job and you get it, it should be for a time that you're on it so you don't become dependent on it. Because they don't owe you anything. You see, the government does not care. They do not love you. You don't let people potentially starve that you love. But y'all caught up, people are caught up in the whole soap opera of it. Republicans, Democrats, the blame game. So I remember a time when it was clowned and frowned upon being on it. Kids joking on you and snapping on you. To now it's become cool, and maybe to some a hustle. And then you add that with the illusion that's shown in America, the illusion that's shown on movies and television. You know, these soap operas, these dramas of the rich. They even had a show one time called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous in the 80s, mid 80s. A guy named Robin Leach would show these multi-millionaire and billionaire houses, mansions and such. And the rich life, the car, all that is a spell being cast on you. You seeing this and now you desire it, you want it. Like many quote unquote drug dealers have said that they were inspired by watching certain movies of people that became, you know, drug kingpins, like the fictional story of Scarface, the movie Scarface. You had people that were inspired behind that to go ahead and do the same thing. That's what happens through movies, through television, the music videos. And the rappers are doing what they're doing in their videos and portraying and showing certain things in their videos, in their lyrics, in their conversation. And the kids mimic that. And sadly, some adults mimic it also and want to live like they're portraying they live. And even in that arena, in Hollywood and in the music industry, that well is running dry as well. When you start seeing these beefs start popping up and different rappers beefing with each other and different entertainers or whatever, sports figures beefing with each other, whatever, all that brings money. All that brings revenue. Stock goes up. So caught up in those illusions of what's seen in television, what's seen in the videos, and what's sung in the songs, people want to have that. Being programmed to want it, where they'll do anything to have it. So you can't, no one, while you have honest people that use it for what they use it for, you have those that have done that. They have sold it for getting things done. Their hair, their nails. whatever vices, or even to cover bills. And you dependent on it to come every month. So now what happens? That's a problem. There's no more money. What's the reaction? How far are people going to go? What are people really going to be doing? There's nothing there. November 1st. Are people going to be doing that? Running up in Walmart? Running up anywhere? Stealing? Falling for the bait. You're falling for the trap. That's the reaction. And they're going to come with a solution. Cannot be dependent on the government. And the government does not have your best interests at heart. The government only tells you the good that they're going to do for you to give them your quote unquote votes. And they hardly ever accomplish anything that they say they are going to accomplish or that they're going to do. Because they're puppets. They're controlled. They're puppets. They are controlled. They're going to do as they're told. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, he said 500 each state. 500 troops each state. Not to mention also the pot about to boil over what was going on in Venezuela as well. And Venezuela issuing threats at Trinidad because America has ships docked there. It's a lot of things that are happening that are building up and much more. Don't fall for the bait. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap. You have to know how to survive. You have to know how to survive. Every day doesn't have to be steak. Every day doesn't have to be chicken. All the things that you're accustomed to because of the dependency. The essentials, especially, you know, with children. Milk, eggs, bread, rice, potatoes, oil, your seasonings, canned goods. You can do some damage with a good $250. And every day doesn't have to be chicken and steak. to ration that out maybe 2 times a week. I don't mention pork, but for anyone that does eat pork, you know, don't have to be pork every day. And definitely not all the different cakes and cookies and all that stuff. You become dependent on it. It's like a drug. There's a lot of all the foods are drugged. All the foods are drugged. That's why you crave it. And then you depend on it because you're getting it from the government. People before us survived. You go back to the Great Depression, people made it through. Just as masculinity is fading in this time, so has femininity. And, you know, women need to know how to bake again. Talking about single women, single mothers need to know how to bake, be able to make things, to bake things. Your own sweets, your own cakes, your own cookies. And it'll be even more healthier. Don't fall for the bait because you don't have what you have on the stamps on your card and do something to put you in a worse situation. Don't fall for the trap. Problem, reaction, solution. Who knows how long this thing is going to play out? Or will it even reopen? This is it. What if? Again, I'm not saying it is. I'm asking, what if? Because it's been 30 days already. Well, you get caught up in the emotion of the soap opera in real life. They clearly show you, whoever side you on, right or left, they don't love you. Because if they did, they would not they would not stand in the way of that money flowing for that, to make sure the people that voted for them, that trusted in them, ate. Absolutely. 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 Also, just looking at your budget and what you spend, you know the things that are necessary and you know the things that are your wants. You might have to put aside your wants and add that to what's necessary, because there's no more food stamps. Cannot get dependent, because after the problem and the reaction of the people, there's going to be a solution. So either way, when that time comes, you got to make a decision. And if it is for the implementation of a digital ID, then you already know what that is. You cannot get food stamps unless you have that digital ID. And that's a what if. I'm not saying that as definitive. What if? What if that's the play? So time will tell. The best bet is not to depend on them. They actually need us. They need you more than you or we need them. They feed off of us. We're used. And it's on a spiritual level, on a physical level as well, but on a spiritual level. It's a lot of witchcraft that's on people, from the illusion to television, movies, radio, and in real life drama you see with the politicians. You listen to some of them arguments and the shouting and the yelling, petty, like children. Supposed to be adults that are trusted to govern a society of people, and they arguing like little kids, insulting each other like little kids, disrespecting each other. But it's supposed to be a United States, one nation, indivisible. Everybody's out for their own self and for their own agendas. Everybody. They're all crooked. They're all corrupt. Again, who starves or allows the potential starvation of people that they love? So the whole point of the presentation is what may be the possibilities. Because if it didn't come back when people were thinking that it would, who knows when it will? And how long will this continue? So with it, with the government shutdown, are we being played? This year, Halloween fell on the weekend. Don't be dependent on it. If you got to use it, use it. And then make a way to get off. It happens. And you're not going to do any, you don't want to do anything illegal to get yourself jammed up where you can't be there for your loved ones, for your children. Don't fall for the problem, the trap. Don't fall for it. And don't panic. Everybody should be in the mindset, I'm gonna wrap it up in a few. Unless y'all want to continue to build, feel free. And you know, we could rock out. Can't panic. You can't panic. And if you're a believer, it's in the prayer that the king commanded to pray. Give us our daily bread. Everybody eats. Even people that you think don't eat, they eat. May not be what they want, but they eat. Can't panic. There's mad meals that can be prepared with meat or without meat. Like you could take a whole chicken. You could take a whole chicken and you can cut it up in chunks, fry it, put some flour on it, some rice, some beans if you don't eat beans, and put some ketchup on it. White rice and egg. White rice with 2 eggs on top of it. 2 sunny side up eggs. Don't panic. But also, keep in mind, the manual says how a prudent person sees the evil and they hide themselves from it. Keep that in mind with prepping. As you start seeing things going, as they say, going south, it's going bad. You got to have something prepared. As they say, for a rainy day, saving for a rainy day, you gotta be prepared. A lot of people caught off guard with this government shutdown in the situation because of the dependency on man. Cursed is he that trusts in man and make flesh his arm. Trusting in men. Putting your life in men's hands. And I believe in God. It clearly says if you don't work, you don't eat. We have to work. Government had that set up for people that don't make enough so they can get help. It's not to stay on forever. So you can use it. And this is in no way, shape, form, or fashion any type of food stamp or SNAP shame. Having been on it myself, experienced with it as a child, in my adult age, my adult ages and stages in different situations. but is not to have the idea to be on it forever because of a situation like this. The wisdom of the king is to use, but do not abuse. You can use this world, but don't abuse it. Don't get wrapped up in it where you become dependent on it. Because your dependency is supposed to be on God. This is for believers. If you're not a believer, this will do nothing for you. What I'm saying. The dependency got to be in God. But he gave okay to use the world. He said you are in the world, but you're not of the world. You can use it, but do not abuse it. And a lot of people abuse it with the dependency. You get comfortable. You get complacent with it, the dependency. So now when it gets cut off, you have certain reactions, people issuing threats and things of that nature, falling for the trap. This was all by design. Everything, this whole thing was by design. It's scripted. This was planned. But don't panic. Think. Don't do anything that'll get you jammed up in a worse situation, aside from not having benefits. You cannot panic. Because panic will lead you to do the wrong thing. Panicking would cause you to do the wrong thing and make the wrong decisions. Just like people panicked with COVID. And then you have people speaking against it, and that's why they came with those different incentives. $100 or some free French fries. Some free French fries to poison your arm. Poison your flesh. Poison your body. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Salute to everybody that tuned in and engaged in dialogue. Appreciate that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Do you see what we see? So the government shut down. Are we being played? Are we being played? Watch as well as pray. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's the next move. Salute. Peace. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Godspeed. Yes, sir.